Don't train more. Here's the scientific reason you're not progressing. The crisis of effort. You're exhausted. That is the only simple truth that matters. You're pouring more time, more energy, and more mental effort into your fitness than you ever thought possible. You're tracking your macros, you are timing your rest periods, you are reading the scientific journals, you are a student of the gym, a dedicated practitioner of the grind. You are doing everything right by the book, yet you're seeing nothing. You are stuck. You're spending more time in the gym than you are with your family or friends. You're eating the same boring, repetitive meals for the 100th day in a row, and you are tracking your nutrient intake with the precision of a high-level chemist. And yet, when you look in the mirror, when you get on the scale, when you check your strength log, you see the same frustrating, impossible-to-shake, unchanging version of yourself from 6 months ago. You have hit the wall. You are trapped in the dreaded and seemingly unbreakable plateau. This is more than just a physical frustration. This is a crisis of effort. It's a moment where your mind begins to betray you. You start questioning everything. You tell yourself, I need to train harder, go heavier, run longer, cut more carbs, or maybe even fast for more hours. You look at the system that works for every fitness influencer and every elite athlete, and you begin to believe the only reason it doesn't work for you is a personal, genetic, or disciplinary failing. You blame your discipline, you blame your genetics, you blame your age, your busy schedule, or your metabolism. But here's the truth, the secret that every bodybuilder, every fitness coach, and every tired beginner needs to hear, and it is the only thing that matters right now. The problem is not that you lack discipline. The problem is not your genetics. The real problem is a hormonal prison that you have accidentally built for yourself through the very act of trying too hard. You are fighting a hormonal civil war against your own body. You have been giving your body the signal to survive, when what you needed to give it was the signal to thrive. In this deep dive masterclass, I'm going to prove to you with hard, irrefutable science that your effort is literally betraying your results. I'm going to show you the precise biological loop that is telling your body to actively burn muscle and store fat every single time you feel that motivational pump you've been chasing. And then I will give you a 3-step, science-backed system to completely dismantle this self-inflicted hormonal prison and force your body back into an anabolic, growth-friendly state. This is not a new supplement. This is not a new flavor of diet. This is about reprogramming your most fundamental biological operating system, your nervous system. This is the ultimate lesson in smarter, not harder. Phase 1, the scientific diagnosis, the cortisol overload trap. The hidden enemy, the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. To break free from this plateau, we must first understand your enemy. It is a hormone you've heard of, but whose insidious power you have dangerously underestimated. Cortisol. Cortisol is your body's primary, non-negotiable stress hormone. It is produced and released by the adrenal glands, which sit right on top of your kidneys. Cortisol production is regulated by a complex, multi-tiered command structure in your brain known as the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, or the HPA axis. This HPA axis is your core survival mechanism. It is the sophisticated alarm system designed to keep the species alive. Its only job is to manage crisis, to prepare you for fight or flight. When you are threatened, the HPA axis kicks into overdrive. Cortisol spikes, giving you an immediate surge of energy, sharpened focus, and a temporary deadening of pain. It is, without question, a biological superpower. But here is the critical paradox. Your body's HPA axis is ancient. It evolved millions of years ago in a world of immediate, acute threats. A saber-toothed tiger, a tribal skirmish, or a month-long famine. It cannot distinguish between the existential stress of running from a predator and the combined chronic stress of your modern life. Let's look at the stress cocktail your HPA axis is receiving every single day. Chemical stress, pre-workout stimulants, excessive caffeine, and restrictive dieting. Psychological stress, a stressful job, financial worry, relationship turmoil. Physical stress, a 90-minute high-intensity workout fueled by little sleep and no recovery. When you blend these three elements, you create a state of chronic, low-grade, perpetual stress. Your cortisol levels are constantly elevated. This is the definition of the cortisol overload trap. This is what is trapping you in the unbreakable plateau. The prison mechanics. How chronic cortisol steals your gains. When your body is in this perpetual state of alarm, it enacts a series of brutal, non-negotiable survival protocols that actively work against your fitness goals. Survival Protocol 1: Fat storage for famine. When cortisol is chronically high, it directly instructs your body that a famine is imminent. When resources are scarce, the body must save energy. Cortisol encourages a phenomenon known as lipogenesis, which is the creation of fat, and inhibits lipolysis, the breakdown of fat. Specifically, it encourages the storage of visceral fat, particularly around the midsection. This is biologically the most strategic and dangerous form of fat. It surrounds your organs and is the easiest reserve for your body to access in a crisis. No amount of crunches or ab workouts will convince your adrenals to release this strategic emergency reserve. They are following the survival orders dictated by your HPA axis. Survival Protocol 2: Muscle catabolism and glycogen depletion. To conserve energy for the perpetual fight, your body needs to lighten its load. Muscle tissue is incredibly metabolically active. It requires a huge amount of daily energy just to exist. Your body sees muscle as a luxury it can no longer afford in a crisis. High cortisol directly acts on muscle cells, forcing your body to break down non-essential tissue for energy. This is known as catabolism, the muscle-burning state. You are literally reversing your progress. The intense workout you just did signaled trauma, and the subsequent cortisol surge ordered the breakdown of the very muscle tissue you were trying to build. You are taking one step forward in the gym and 2 steps back in your recovery. Survival Protocol 3: Inflammation and impaired immunity. Chronically high cortisol impairs the regulatory function of your immune system. You become more susceptible to minor illnesses, leading to missed workouts, which just increases the stress of being behind schedule. Furthermore, persistent high cortisol interferes with proper sleep architecture, inhibiting the crucial release of growth hormone GH and testosterone during your deep sleep cycles. This is a critical feedback loop. Less sleep equals more stress, which equals less growth hormone, which equals less muscle growth, which increases your frustration, leading you to train harder, spiking cortisol even higher. This is the vicious, self-perpetuating cycle of the cortisol overload trap. You are stuck, not because you are lazy, but because you are trapped in a self-inflicted hormonal prison. We must now break this cycle. Phase 2, the deload system, reversing the trauma signal. To break free, we must deliberately signal to your HPA axis that the crisis is over. We need to speak to the brain in the only language it understands: safety, calm, and recovery. This begins with the hardest step, the act of intentional surrender. Protocol 1: the 7-day mechanical pattern break. Your body is addicted to the high-intensity stress pattern. It is wired to the neurological stimulation of pushing to failure. We need to cut the supply. This is a crucial, difficult step because it feels entirely counterintuitive. It feels like quitting. The principle: allostatic load reduction. In stress physiology, the concept of allostatic load refers to the cumulative wear and tear on the body's systems due to repeated or chronic stress. Your HPA axis is overloaded. The 7-day mechanical pattern break is a system designed to rapidly drop this load and signal to your HPA axis that the danger has passed. The action: the 7-day deliberate deload. For the next 7 consecutive days, you are going to intentionally reduce your training volume and intensity. This is a neurological deload masquerading as a physical one. Weight reduction: immediately cut the weight you lift on your compound movements. Squats, deadlifts, presses by 35 to 40%. Do not chase personal bests. Focus instead on a tempo training technique, a 3-second negative, lowering the weight, and a 1-second pause at the bottom. This shifts the focus from sheer load to time under tension and perfect movement. You are cleaning up the neural pathways for better performance later. Cardio transition. Eliminate all high-intensity interval training, PHIIT. Replace it with low-impact, Zone 2 movement. This means walking, light cycling, or a slow jog where you could comfortably hold a conversation. Your heart rate should be in the range of 60 to 70% of your maximum heart rate. Limit these sessions to a maximum of 30 to 45 minutes. The effort tagging rule. This is the most crucial psychological step. You should never, under any circumstance, finish a set feeling like you couldn't do at least 2 more perfect, full range of motion repetitions. You are intentionally leaving volume in the tank. This is the immediate physical signal of safety you send to the brain. The psychological resistance and its management. Your ego will fight this. You will feel small. You will feel weak. This is the sound of your old stressed self trying to cling to control. You must look at the reduced weights not as a step backward, but as an investment in future gains. By forcing your nervous system to downshift from sympathetic dominance, fight or flight, to parasympathetic dominance, rest and digest, you are literally creating a biological window for supercompensation. When you return to your normal training routine on day 8, your body will have recovered the neurological deficits, and the HPA axis will be quieter. This creates a state of hypersensitivity to anabolic stimuli. The result is often a surge in strength and muscle gain that far exceeds the progress you were making while chronically overtraining. You are trading 1 week of ego for 6 months of exponential progress. This is the mechanical pattern break. Phase 3, the subconscious rewiring hack, programming for growth. The next phase of the HPA axis, reprogramming protocol, targets the most powerful system in your body, your sleeping brain. You need to maximize the hours you are unconscious. Protocol 2, the sleep state programming. It is a well-established scientific fact that your body executes the vast majority of its muscle repair, immune system restoration, and memory consolidation during deep, slow-wave sleep. Crucially, this is when the brain releases the pulse of growth hormone and testosterone necessary for true anabolic growth. If you go to sleep stressed, anxious, or neurologically overstimulated, you blunt this hormonal pulse. The science of brainwaves, the alpha/theta window. Your brain is most programmable during the transition states, the 15 minutes before sleep and the 15 minutes after waking. In these periods, your brain shifts from the beta state, conscious analytical thought, into the alpha state, relaxed, meditative, and eventually the theta state, deep relaxation, dreamlike state, subconscious access. We are going to use the evening alpha/theta window to quiet the HPA axis and program your body for growth. The action, the 5-minute success state programming. Right before you close your eyes, put your phone away, dim the lights, and dedicate 5 minutes to this specific mental exercise. The anti-visualization rule. Do not visualize your next heavy squat session or a difficult run. This keeps the stress loop active. The goal is calm. Visualize the instead. Feel the sensation of your body relaxing. Imagine your body as a repair factory, calmly and efficiently opening its storage units to deploy new resources. Feel the sensation of blood flow, not a pump, but a nourishing warmth. Imagine your muscles are sinking into the mattress, heavy and complete. Feel the emotional state of calmness and energy. Do not focus on the goal, the big muscles. Focus on the process, the deep, unshakable feeling of waking up completely rested, energized, calm, and ready. You are visualizing the state of the successful, recovered athlete, not the action of the workout. The trigger tag, the 4-7-8 breathing anchor. To signal this state change immediately, we must use a mental anchor. The easiest anchor to control is your breath. We will use the 4-7-8 breathing technique to physically force the parasympathetic nervous system online. Action. Exhale completely through your mouth. Close your mouth and inhale quietly through your nose for a count of 4. Hold your breath for a count of 7. Exhale completely through your mouth for a count of 8. The power, repeat this cycle 5 times. The extended 7-second hold and the 8-second exhale are scientifically proven to stimulate the vagus nerve, which runs from the brainstem to the abdomen. Stimulating the vagus nerve is the fastest, most direct path to reducing heart rate and triggering a powerful wave of parasympathetic dominance. This specific breathing pattern becomes your mental anchor. You are telling your brain, this pattern means safety, recovery, and growth. Your subconscious does not distinguish between real emotions and imagined emotions. When you consistently feed it calm, restorative emotions through this programming, it actively suppresses cortisol release and prioritizes the anabolic state while you sleep. You are programming your body for growth in the most powerful hours of the day. Phase 4, the precision system, scientific feedback. The final phase of the protocol introduces a critical element of self-diagnosis. You can't manage what you don't measure, but we must stop measuring the wrong things. We must stop relying solely on the mirror and the scale. They are lagging indicators. We need a real-time report on the status of our HPA axis. Protocol 3, the HRV microscan technique. Most people track their sets, reps, and steps. Elite athletes, longevity experts, and high-level CEOs track their heart rate variability, HRV. This is a non-negotiable step to ensuring you never fall back into the cortisol overload trap. The science of HRV, the autonomic nervous system balance. HRV is the tiny millisecond variation in time between consecutive heartbeats. Contrary to popular belief, a heart that beats like a perfect mechanical clock is a sign of a stressed, rigid system. A healthy heart, one managed by a calm nervous system, has a high degree of variation. It's flexible. HRV is the single most accurate real-time indicator of your nervous system state. Low HRV, your nervous system is dominated by the sympathetic branch, cortisol is high, fight or flight is active. Your body is prioritizing survival over recovery. If your HRV is low, your body is begging for rest. High HRV, your nervous system is dominated by the parasympathetic branch, rest and digest. Your body is in a state of safety and is primed for optimal performance and growth. Why HRV is better than resting heart rate, RHR. Your RHR can drop simply because you are fit. Your HRV changes minute to minute based on your psychological, metabolic, and physical stress load. It gives you the full, complex picture of your allostatic state. The action, the daily HRV rule. You must adopt a wearable device, an Oura Ring, a Whoop, or a reliable phone-based app that tracks this metric every night. The morning microscan. Every morning before you check a single notification, check your HRV score. This is your biological readiness report. The training adjuster rule. If your HRV score is low, e.g., a drop of 20% or more from your baseline, you must immediately adjust your training down. This is a non-negotiable rule. Replace that planned heavy leg day with an active recovery session. A long, slow walk, 30 minutes of yoga, or simply a day off with the sleep state programming. You are prioritizing the hormonal environment over the immediate workout. Pushing on this day will only spike cortisol, leading to a catabolic, counterproductive session. If your HRV score is high, at or above your rolling average, your body is primed. This is the day to push the heaviest weight, to hit that top-end speed, and to capitalize on your recovery. The power of this technique is that you move from guessing about your recovery to scientifically knowing your body's true status. You stop blindly pushing when your body's begging for rest. You stop training harder and start training smarter, in complete sync with your own biology. This is the final, ultimate self-correction loop that guarantees long-term, sustainable progress. Phase 5, synthesis, resistance, and the path forward. We have covered the 3 pillars of the HPA Axis Reprogramming Protocol. The 7-day mechanical pattern break, the deload, to signal immediate physical safety. The sleep state programming, the mental anchor, to program the subconscious for anabolic recovery. The HRV microscan technique, the feedback loop, to ensure every training session is aligned with your current hormonal reality. addressing the resistance, the ego trap. It is essential to understand the one thing that will try to sabotage this system: your ego. Your ego is a product of the societal obsession with hustle culture. It tells you that if you're not sore, if you're not exhausted, if you're not training to failure, you are failing. You must accept this new philosophy. Exhaustion is not a prerequisite for growth. It is an inhibitor of growth. Your ego sees a high HRV day as a missed opportunity to push, but your biology sees it as the result of smart recovery, which is the platform for future success. The old way was linear. Effort in equals result out. The new way is cyclical. Effort in, strategic rest in, maximized result out. The fastest way to break a plateau is to stop fighting the fatigue and to start managing the allostatic load. The final choice, the architecture of success. You now have the full architecture of success. You understand that your dedication was never the problem. Your method was. You were trying to build a new physique on a hormonal chassis designed for chronic stress. Your nervous system was programmed to keep you safe and small, prioritizing survival over aesthetics. You must now use the power of the deload, the calm of the sleep state programming, and the precision of the HRV scan to signal safety and force anabolic growth. The choice is simple. Will you stay chained to the conventional wisdom of just push harder, leading to exhaustion, injury, and a broken plateau? Or will you embrace the scientific truth, signal safety, and start building the physique that is biologically available to you? The strongest, most energetic version of you is not found through more pain. It is found through smarter recovery and precise hormonal control. Take the 7-day deload reset, hit the protocol, implement the breathing anchor tonight, start tracking your HRV tomorrow. Don't train harder, train smarter. Take action now.